So my reality show about living your dream life and getting it funded premieres this Sunday, and I'm so incredibly stoked about it. I hope you are too. But in the meantime, I wanted to hold you off with some really cool content. I flew down to Austin, Texas, and got interviewed on the NoMore Podcast. We talked about health, wellness, all kinds of cool stuff that you can do to revitalize yourself. And this isn't the entire podcast, it's just a little part of it, but I wanted to share it with you to hold you off until the big premiere this Sunday of Dream Life TV. Let's check it out.
Hello, and welcome to the NoMore Show. This is Sarah Morel Vaughn, the founder and co-creator of NoMore. The NoMore team and I have put together these podcasts to help you live your healthiest life. And if you're already there, then these podcasts will help you to stay on track. We're so glad that you've joined us to say no more to toxicity in your life. Hello, co-creators, and welcome to the NoMore Show. I am here with Lindsay, my ginger to my turmeric, and Nathen Aaron. And we are going to record a session that discusses topics on what it means to live a healthy life.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening in.
Yeah, thanks, Nate, for coming.
Hey, guys.
So, Nate, we want to talk about what it looks like to you to live a holistic, healthy life and what success means to you. But before we do, I want to talk a little bit about who you are and your history. Tell us about who Nathen Aaron is.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me again. The basic backstory, but I want to make sure to keep this valuable to the listener, is that I knew what I wanted to do from a very young age, about 15, 16 years old. And I did everything that I could do to get that as quickly as possible. Things like graduating high school early, moving to Los Angeles to pursue my dream. And when I did that, I knew in my heart that I was going to be a famous millionaire by 21. And that's not at all what happened. Life kind of, gave me the backhand, and all kind of challenges happened. Ended up homeless, ended up having, being stolen from, and all of these traumas and crazy things that happened that we signed up for, but forgot we signed up for when we came into this life to challenge us. And a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and then I've come to the point about 2 years ago where I decided that I wanted to step away from the music industry. I had a lot of successes, but also a lot of failures in that industry, helping people get $1 million record deals, working with some of the top artists in the music industry. It looked really sexy and awesome from the outside, but really it was just completely tearing me up in the inside. And plus I really wasn't making that much money. It was really fun to get flown around the world, the US, and work with famous people that I grew up idolizing, and then not all the time, but often meeting and then realizing that there was very toxic situations. So there was a moment where I just slowly but surely started waking up again. And it's funny how it works, because I've been meditating and listening to Wayne Dyer 6-7 years on a regular basis, and studying self-development on a regular basis, and considering myself very awake. But we can be fully awake when it comes to certain areas of our lives and completely asleep in other areas of our lives.
Absolutely.
And so I found myself really asleep and unaware that I was on autopilot with my career, and that I was working 7 days a week as hard as I could. A lot of people were saying, "You're overworking yourself," and I thought, I'm not overworking myself. But then I got hit again with my health issues. And the health issues got me into a position where I was forced to pull back and forced to stop and forced to take a look at my life. Then after that, I decided that I was going to make a shift. I decided that I was going to step away from that industry and into my truest calling was. And then I got to where I am now. So in the music industry, I was helping people get their projects funded, get their careers funded, get them record deals. And then so I decided that I wanted to do that for myself so that I could spread my message to the world by getting grants and investments for my own projects, but also so that I could help other people do the same. So I could help people, one, get ultra clear on what they want to do with their life, how they want to serve themselves, how they want to serve others. Two, to get that funded so that they're not doing it from a place of scarcity, so they're doing it from a place of abundance. so that they can not have to cut corners, but do it fully in the most abundant way as possible. And then 3, guide them through the process of taking the action steps to make it a real thing. So that's where I am now. And, I just have this real reverence for life and for an appreciation for the process that I've been through and that all the people around me have been through.
Nice. Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Nate. So what does it look like for you on a daily basis in order to stay grounded, where that place that you got where you realized this isn't for me and your health is going down the drain? What were the things that you did in order to get yourself healthier, and what do you do now on a daily that keeps you in that place?
Yeah, so 1, I really think it comes down to obsession. A healthy obsession for continuously making small little daily changes. And the way to do that is to consistently ask the right questions to yourself over and over and over again. What do I like? What can I do to feel a little bit better? What can I do to take care of myself a little bit more? What can I do to get a little bit more clear about my purpose, about my vision, about my this and that? That's all the internal stuff. And then as you rise up Maslow's hierarchy of needs and you get into a place where your personal needs are met, then you start asking questions like, what can I do to serve? What can I do to help? Where am I needed the most? And things started to shift for me. Although, that being said, as a side note, I think it's important to start all of that, the internal and the external, from day one, if possible. It's a little mistake that I may have made in some ways, but maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit as well. Yeah, it's kind of like the concept that I really like, which is if you're really out of shape and you want to start exercising, run to the mailbox. Because you just want to do the smallest little version of what you can do to get the momentum going. Also, it reminds me of the concept of when, then. That was a big mistake that I made in my life, where you say, when I have X, then I'll be able to do Y. When I find my mate, then I'll be happy. When I start a family, then I'll be happy. When I make my first 100,000, my first million, then I'll be able to impact the world. But the truth is that fame and wealth, among other things, just amplify what you already were. So if you were a confused, I don't like to say a bad person, a confused person that's always frustrated and always agitated, then money and or fame will make you more frustrated and more agitated. If you are
spotlight it.
Yeah, if you're a peaceful, loving person that's always focused on self-growth, then that will also amplify in those situations too. So you got to start in the smallest way possible. That is also really good for people who have a problem getting their projects off the ground or being productive. I feel that if you do the tiniest version and create a 1-day goal or a 30-minute goal or a 7-day goal, instead of having these 5-year lofty goals that seem amazing but they're going to take forever to do, just do the smallest thing. So if
builds momentum.
Right, it builds momentum, exactly. Like I said, if you want to get in shape, you run to the mailbox and back. If you want to be a philanthropist like Bill Gates, then go give 50 cents to the homeless. It doesn't have to be big, but it's a start, and it's going to get you in the routine of doing it.
So far, you've mentioned starting in small steps, and then what you're saying to yourself. Be really mindful of the things that you're saying to yourself on a daily basis. And if you do have goals like getting healthier and living just a really thriving life, to start small steps.
Yep. We think of our body as separate from our mind, and our finances as separate from our spirituality, and our fun/lifestyle as separate from our sleep schedule. These things are all connected. I had these issues that were going on with where I blacked out when I was on the freeway, where I lost my voice every night for a year, where I went into the ER and they thought that I was having a stroke or a seizure. All these weird things that happen. Thought I had bed bugs when it was really just some weird allergy, possibly even something mental. And whenever something happened, people would tell me that maybe it's psychosomatic, something going on in my brain, but it was physical. I couldn't believe that was humanly possible, because like, what does my brain have to do with me feeling like I'm getting pinched in the middle of the night? And then I came to the realization when I walked out of the hospital, this is a very deep and philosophical thing to grasp, but our minds and our bodies are connected by a thing called a neck.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's so funny that we don't think that like it's some spiritual thing.
There's actually more proof that meditation can create world peace than aspirin can cure a headache.
Wow.
Because of what it does internally. It changes our cell structure by meditating, which is the power of the brain. So you were talking about how you couldn't believe that this was possible, and then you have realized how much your brain has affected your health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a real eye-opener when I went into Kaiser Permanente to a Western ear, nose, and throat doctor for me losing my voice. And I'm expecting him to give me a pill, or, I try not to take anything. And he prescribed me voice lessons. And that totally threw me for a loop. One, I have a desire to be a public speaker and a singer. And to hear a Western doctor from, like a big corporate entity tell me that was wild to me. And it just goes to show that this stuff is becoming more and more integrated, at least from my perspective, where these things are being proven and becoming common knowledge. And that goes for everything, like organic foods. 50 years ago, there was no such thing because everything was organic. Mm-hmm. And then 20 years ago, there was no such thing as organic because everything was bad or was becoming bad. And now we're getting back around to everybody being, it's supply and demand, right? Mm-hmm. The more people purchase organic things, the more that's your vote.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is really important to touch on. Mm-hmm. That you're not just making the vote for your body, you're making the vote for the environment and the vote out there, saying that we want to say no to things
the marketplace. To
the marketplace, yes. Yes, mm-hmm. to healthy living, no to pesticides. That's what it means. Organic is to not have the pesticides. And there is much higher nutrition in the food you're consuming that is organic. So it's a vote. And you remember that when you are purchasing something that costs a little bit more. It's not just for the environment, not just for you, but you're also making a vote. And that vote's really important.
Yeah, and you're not actually paying, if my perspective, of course, this is just the way to look at things. You're not actually paying more for organic. You're paying less to not A, be good to your body, B, not be good to the environment, mm-hmm. C, to not make a vote for organic to be the norm. Mm-hmm. And then what happens when the supply and demand tipping point happens is organic will become cheaper than the pesticide based.
Because the supply is higher.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Good day in the world.
The long-term amount of money that you will spend on trying to heal your body from pesticides is by far way more expensive than eating in the now for your body. And wherever there's a need, the universe will supply. So when people say they can't afford it, there's always something that you can do. Even switching to more vegetarian meals is less expensive than buying meat. I mean, you think about what it costs to eat an organic bean versus buying a steak. So there are things that can be done, but you're purchasing for your future. When you take a non-organic food, this is the way I like to describe it, you're swiping a credit card, and you will have to pay for that later with interest.
Oh, that's good.
That's really good.
So all these things you're doing now, it's really important to be mindful of that. So Nate, I hear also you're talking about organic, so I'd love to open that up and talk about you and what you put in your body, because I know you really well, and I know and I have watched you heal your body, and part of what you did was started being mindful about the foods that you were eating. Do you eat organic?
Yeah, actually, one quick thought before I answer that question. I believe there is a law in nature, similar to gravity, similar to time, where if you go for the short-term gratification, then you get the instant pleasure and you pay in long term. And if you have the wherewithal to have the discipline to wait and not get the short-term gratification, then you don't get the pleasure in the short term, but you get it longer in the long term. And that goes for most things in life. If you think about it, if you exercise, you're going to have a healthier body, versus if you sit down on the couch, you might feel better in the moment, but not in the long term. You could probably come up with 100 different examples. So I just wanted to make sure to put that out there. if you're listening to this, you can look into all different areas of your life and see where that applies. Every single thing you do, if you're doing something that feels good, chances are there's that thing, there's a way to wait for it and make it better. And some things might feel good once you have momentum. You might say, well, when I sit down and meditate, it feels amazing. That's because you've had the momentum of the discipline of doing it. So it kind of flips on itself, like the organic foods will become cheaper than the pesticide-based foods. Same thing happens when you have the discipline to focus on things that are not the short-term gratification, instant gratification. So just a little side thought there. And then bringing that back into foods, one, have fun educating yourself. Don't get stressed about it. Enjoy the process. It's like I said earlier, healthy obsession. Get excited about it. And again, the short-term gratification versus the long-term gain that you get. It's the same situation. Eating a giant bowl of ice cream versus having a smoothie, it's a little bit more pleasurable in the moment to have the ice cream.
But how do you feel 5 minutes later?
You have
to focus on that. It's really essential that when you start switching to healthier foods that you don't beat yourself up. It's okay, you have tomorrow. Every meal is another chance to heal your body. Even this is really important to me, and I know Lindsay and I have had many conversations, will have an off day or have an off meal. I come home and I immediately will do some kind of detox drink. And we are right now in the time where Monsanto was just sued $277 million, I believe the number is. They proved that the pesticides caused cancer, and they're in our children's cereal. It's
destroying our gut health.
Absolutely. So that leads to mental disorders. The pesticides lead to mental disorders. They lead to ailments,
anxiety,
cancer,
depression.
Leukemia. It's linking all. Cancer specifically is what it was sued for. So you do now choose consciously not just healthy foods, but organic foods. Do you do like any vegetarian meals, plant-based diets? I mean, do you work out daily? Are you meditating? What are the top things that you think are really important every day that you do besides the 3 that you've mentioned now?
I would definitely say that the areas that I can improve on personally that I think are extremely important for everyone is getting back into that sustainable exercise routine. Personally, the things that have helped me the most is I sometimes over-exaggerate and say that meditation saved my life. I always considered meditation more of a spiritual journey, and then I learned, oh wow, it's actually something that can help me with my mind and my mental conditions. And then even further realizing this can actually physically heal me as well. It's all the same thing. And so meditation has allowed me to do diaphragmatic breathing, healing my gut up through my throat into my esophagus and vocal cords. I mean, it's something worth celebrating that I can do a podcast like this and not lose my voice at the end of it.
Yes, amazing. Absolutely. Do you have someone you suggest, like if somebody's brand new to meditation, a tip on that or a place that they could go to that would help them start? Yeah,
I mean, the first meditation I learned was the Om meditation from Wayne Dyer, full inhale and exhaling with Om. And that was really powerful for me because 2 things happened to me when I did that meditation. One is it's really good for your body in a slightly different way than just a breathing meditation, because you're vibrating your vocal cords and it's emanating throughout your whole body and your skull. And then the second thing is you get high from it. You get this specific high.
Increasing your endorphins and serotonin.
Right, endorphins, serotonin. It's not quite like hyperventilating, but it has kind of a similar effect where you really just get this high. Then later I learned about mindfulness meditation, which is great because anyone who has mind chatter, I'm really proud of the fact that I have trained myself to redirect all negative thoughts to a positive thought. The mindfulness meditation really helps me not to think about anything at all and have the discipline of not thinking about anything.
And where do they find, is this YouTube?
The Headspace app is my favorite. I really like the Calm app, but the one that healed me was the Headspace app.
So meditation, eating clean, healthy foods, moving your body, being mindful of what you're thinking and what you're doing, knowing that it's not too late to start a project and you don't have to make it this huge thing. Just do a baby step every day to start building that momentum.
She's literally not taking notes. This is all from her head. It's pretty amazing. It's like when you walk into a restaurant that you've been to one time and they know your name and what you order. It's just amazing.
I would not classify my memory on that level. Can you give us a few more before we close this out?
Yeah. One of the most powerful breakthroughs that I've had in the last 2 years when it comes to concepts that can help on a day-to-day basis is the following. If you are the type of person, this is not everybody, that likes to request things from your faith, whether that be from a religious faith or from whatever you subscribe to, if you ask for things, like let's say you say, I want this house, or I want this relationship, or I want this thing or that thing, I want this job, please bring this thing to me. One huge breakthrough I've had is to not ask for the thing and instead ask for the feeling.
Yeah, so powerful.
Affirming it.
Yeah, I believe God, that the universe has a wonderful sense of humor, such as this. I want $1 million. Please bring me $1 million. Then you go into work on Monday. Your boss says, hey, I have this $1 million check. Can you go ahead and deposit that into my account for me? And then you go and deposit that money into their account. That was God's way of saying, yeah, be a little more specific next time. But if you say, I want to feel the feelings of, and I'll give you mine, goosebumps of appreciation, smiling until my cheeks hurt, laughing until my stomach's sore, waves of unexpected appreciation and gratitude and reverence for life.
Getting really specific.
Those feelings you can't go wrong with, because if you ask for the seemingly perfect partner and then they'll be abusive or anything like that can happen, but if you ask for the good feelings, then it can't go wrong, because the good feelings are good feelings. And that's ultimately what you're going for.
You play off that fake it till you make it. It's one of my biggest tips that I give everyone. Fake it till you make it. And that means affirming it now. Fake it. Like if you want to laugh, go just start laughing, and then you'll notice that you'll be laughing. You'll start feeling better. You can start activating that. It could play off of just really embodying those feelings and then attracting those feelings.
That said, I think it's also really valuable to embrace the moments that are challenging. A few days ago, I was running with our friend Adrian. As we were running, and I've been out of shape, dealing with strep throat and getting my lungs back. And he said, hey man, when you run and you hit that wall, you're not running and then hitting the wall is the challenging part. You're running so that you hit that wall. The purpose of the run is to hit that wall. And so when it comes to maybe someone listening is struggling right now, whether it be health or trauma or whatever it might be, that is a part of the dance of life. That's what we subscribe to. This is a belief of mine, not a fact. But I believe that in some way, when we chose this life, that we decided, I'm accepting to move out of the space of pure bliss and into this fluctuation of challenge, bliss, challenge, comfort, struggle, joy, pain and suffering, feeling better to feeling whole. And so that is the journey. That is what we're doing here. So just if you are going through it and maybe faking it is a tool in your toolkit that you can use in moments where you're not feeling too good, but at the same time, some people, if you hear that and you're like in this victim mentality phase where you're like, yeah, that's easy for you to say, but like look what I've been through. I'm you have layers and layers and layers of stuff, maybe even since childhood, that's of traumatic things, and you can't just fake it's not going to do anything for you from your perspective. Then also know you can embrace those moments and just ride them out. Like life is a dance. Mimic nature, right? If you stick water in your hands, they become the outline of your hands. If you stick water in a cup, it becomes a cup. If you stick it in a river, it becomes a river. If you can do that.
Downstream. To touch on that, my third mom is blind, and she went blind in her 40s. And we have a call every week. And if I even try to complain about anything, she's like, yeah, well, I can't see my newspaper. And I'm like, you're right. It's a really great reminder. And we go back to service. If you can be of service to people who are less fortunate, you automatically activate the gratitude in your own life. You have to shift from victim to responsible. No one is going to do your life for you. It is up to you to do it. And if you remember about how fortunate you are, find the gratitude. You've got it. I don't care if you're living underneath a tree right now, you're breathing because you're listening to this. You must even have a device to listen to it, or you're around somebody that is, which means you have a friend. So you can find things to be grateful for, and that act of being in gratitude is what's going to attract to you the calling of more things to be grateful for.
Relating to gratitude, download the Feel Better app. Our friend Michael McConnell has been working for years on this app, and I've enjoyed it and I've liked it, but only now in this last release is it something that I will use every single day, because now every day in the morning and at night, these little smiley faces will pop up on your phone, and you can just tap a super sad face all the way up to a super happy face, and you can document your mood and then see graphs and charts of your mood, so you can start to get an idea of your patterns. And maybe you're sad every week, first week of the month. Maybe you're sad, every Sunday, and that'll help you get some insight, as well as a little notification that comes up that you just tap on, and it says gratitude, and you just write what you're grateful for, and then you'll have this whole list of things that you're grateful for without taking time out of your life to do that.
The app's great. We'll put the app in the link when we're posting this. I've done it myself too, and at the end of it I was like, wow, I feel amazing. And he actually adds meditations in that app. And that app is, for now, it's free. I don't know if it'll always be free, but we'll add it in there.
Yes. And then that takes me to the other last thought, which is, Sarah, you said friends. And friends and friendship is a really sticky subject, because having great friends is the number one way I've seen in a lot of studies that to live a long life. Having community, having people around you, one of the best ways that you can have a high quality life. And so the reason it's such a sticky situation is because it's challenging to find those people. And so
it can be, doesn't it?
It can be. It doesn't exactly.
Have to be if you're following your path and pulling them.
Yes,
it could be really easy.
Setting.
It could be a pajama party. And
Ask for easy. Thank you, Sarah. Ask for easy. That's very important, because things can be easy. Things can be fun. Oh, we could talk for hours about this, but
so attracting the right friends who are helping to elevate you, your community.
My own personal way that has served me to gain friendships is to be healthily obsessed with the things that matter to me, and to continuously talk about them always, all the time, one, but two, have a deep, genuine interest in human beings. And what I like to do is listen extremely carefully about what people are saying, ask them questions that are deep, thoughtful, and meaningful about them, and then regurgitate that back to them in the moment and later by giving them super well thought out, genuine compliments about what you think is special about them.
Go ahead and tell me. That's great. That's great. So we have to end this amazing podcast, and I just want to thank everybody for listening. Nate is one of the best at puns, so Nate, you got to give me some sort of no more pun for this podcast.
I don't have one, so I'll have to punt it off to you.
Oh, you mean you have no more to say? One of our next ones will be on Lindsay. I promise. I'm going to ask her lots of amazing questions because she's full of really great advice. I just want to thank everybody for being on the NoMore Show, for listening to the NoMore Show and saying no more to the toxicity in your life. Nate, can you please tell everyone where they can find you?
Sure. Yeah, I have a website. It's nathen.tv, and all of my social media is Nathen TV. That's NATHEN TV. And my YouTube is youtube.com/Nathen.
They're great. They're elevating. Watch them. I'm going to end this with just a little happy birthday, Mama Reem. Today is her birthday, and she is a big person in the life of NoMore and all the other girls who have helped make NoMore a success. So
Happy
thank
birthday.
you guys.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We hoped you loved that show. If you want to know more, then head over to our website, where you can find everything from our toxic-free product line to our up-to-date newsletters. You can check us out at www.natureofnomore.com. Thanks for listening.